everyone, welcome to our episode of Super Reaction Bros. I'm Chris.
Yeah, I'm Christopher.
And on today's episode, we're taking a look at the death battle. God damn it, can't stop doing these weekly. It's getting really irritating because I like to release on Mondays and Tuesdays. And, this is the death battle for Korra vs. Storm, Avatar, the Nickelodeon series, versus Marvel, the Disney series, technically.
Marvel Comics.
Yeah, Marvel Comics. So, Korra vs. Storm, basically Battle of the Elementals. One has the ability to control earth, fire,
wind, water.
And so at times heart.
Yeah.
Earth and heart, yeah. And then Storm is the controller of the weather for the most part. So, she can make it rain up in this bitch. Anything she wants.
Literally make it rain.
Yeah. So, not actual money, folks. Actual, like, water rain.
Do you wish they would do that with a rain?
Well, you know what I am curious about? I know both of us know a lot about Korra already, you know. I'm curious to see about Storm because, like, we only know based off of the 97 X-Men series.
And pretty much just everything else that we've heard of or seen from the comics. That's about it for Storm. That's you know, we don't know like the full history or a full deep dive because there's more to her character than we know of.
We do know I do know a couple additional things. I know she's actually claustrophobic. Because that's how she realized her power, which power she had. And then I also know for a fact at some point in the comic she eventually gets some version of the comic. She eventually gets married to T'Challa.
Yeah.
So
Black Panther. Yeah.
Just
before we get started, we do apologize for the way it looks, only because we've been getting like blocked like there's no tomorrow. So this is the only way. I mean, I try to make it to where you can still kind of see it and view it, but you know, in a way where it's like it's still being protected to where you can still see our reaction, but also see a bit of like you know. So if you want to follow along, just get the link.
Yeah, and if you want to see what he's talking about, you can check out our previous Death Battle reaction, which was between. Was that the JoJo Hellsing one?
The vampire one?
Yes. You can check out our reactions to Dio versus Alucard so you can see exactly what he means. But
yeah. But let's just dive into this for this death battle between Korra versus Storm. Avatar, the Nickelodeon one, versus Marvel Comics. So here we go.
It's Avatar. The animated series.
Nickelodeon.
Not the Blue Native one.
Not the CGI one. No, the Nickelodeon.
I remember when they were still going to call Korra the last Airbender, the Legend of Korra. And they just tried to put Legend of Korra.
Battle to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. Thanks, BlueChew, for sponsoring the show. Avatar Korra, the master of all four elements. Storm, the X-Men's goddess of the storms. Weather. The building blocks of our natural world are nothing if not tempestuous and unpredictable. Which means you gotta be some kind of badass to control them. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Avatar A, savior of the world, uniter of four nations, destroyer of cabbages. But like all
cabbages.
He passed away. Humanity would have to move forward and prepare his next reincarnation to take up his mantle. But who could fill and choose? Her name was Korra.
Wiz, who is that? Did you leave the door open again? Deuces, gents. Unlike her carefree predecessor, the hot-headed, obstinate Korra was an Avatar prodigy from day one.
Avatar! You gotta deal with it!
Well, and struggled to accept his role in the world, Korra never wanted to be anything else. Not only is she an expert hand-to-hand fighter on her own, as a bender, Korra can manipulate the natural world around her through martial arts. And as the Avatar, she is the only living being who can bend all four elements at once. Water,
no, I took her most of season 1 to get that air.
Water, form massive walls of ice, and generate huge tsunamis. Aang once raised the sea level to put out these huge fires. Looking at the size of the area and what did it take to submerge it, he had to move over 35 million metric tons of water. And since Korra is a reincarnation of Aang and every past avatar, she should be just as powerful. With earthbending, Korra can heave big-ass boulders around, shape and control metal, and even tear apart the ground beneath her enemy's feet. Kind of like when her avatar ancestor Kyoshi broke up a chunk of a continent, dragged it across a bay, and basically just created a new island, named after herself. Queen shit. By measuring the size of the island to get its mass, and the size of the bay to get the distance Kyoshi dragged it, displacing this much rock would require an energy over 21 gigatons of TNT. That's almost 15 times more energy than the entire world's nuclear arsenal detonating at the same time. With firebending, Korra can fire blasts of, fire, jet into the sky like a rocket, or breathe like a friggin' dragon. The perfect element to match Korra's hot-headed temper. However, her final element was completely different. Due to its inherently zen, free-flowing nature, Korra struggled at first to master airbending. But like all good prodigies, she figured it out anyways. With airbending, Korra can shoot powerful gusts of wind, fly around on tornadoes, and create a cute little air scooter. She used this element to defeat the bloodbender Amon, who was fast enough to dodge lightning. He's not the only one. Zuko and Iroh have caught and dodged lightning as well, and Iroh even caught one from the sky. The leader of a lightning bolt moves at 60,000 meters per second. Comparing the distance Amon moved relative to the bolt, he must have been moving over 200 times the speed of sound. But Korra's more than just a badass martial arts superhero. She also acts as the bridge between the mortal and spirit worlds. The spirit world is a separate plane of reality, and Korra is stronger while she's physically there. Her direct connection isn't coincidence. She and every avatar before her are fused with the spirit of light, Rava. Every time the avatar dies...
Wait, what?
Rava searches out their spirit to bond with their new body, a staple of Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. I've done a lot of research into reincarnation, which I'll demonstrate today with Boomstick and this anvil. Wait, what? Now, the avatar is usually reborn into a different nation, but I've set this up so Boomstick will reincarnate into the nearest vessel, this identical clone body.
Oh no!
Whiz! Deal, buddy! Quiet, me.
I love Scooby-Doo clip in the background.
Cut off his leg and everything. Speaking of messing with your soul, Korra can remove or restore your bending, bring her past lives for advice, and tap into the kick-ass avatar state. The avatar state massively boosts Korra's raw bending power, turning her into effectively a demigod and the de facto most powerful being on the planet, if she wasn't already. Despite that, Korra's no stranger to failure. She was severed from her connection to the past avatars and was almost killed while in the avatar state, which would have ended her cycle of reincarnation entirely. That last brush with death left her physically and emotionally crippled for years. Even after physical therapy, her fiery spirit struggled to reignite. Korra's entire identity was wrapped up in being the Avatar, all the way from day one. And the biggest trials she had to face were when her place in the world was challenged. Would everyone be better off without an Avatar? Or bending at all? But Korra's nothing if not one hell of a fighter. No matter what life threw at her, she always got back up to kick ass. Korra once blocked an energy blast from a giant spirit cannon, which created this massive crater in the center of Republic City, and almost killed everyone. Taking a look at the width and depth of this crater, and assuming it was all vaporized, Korra must have held back a blast worth almost 6 megatons of TNT. More queen shit. And during harmonic convergence, Korra tapped into enough spirit energy to turn into a giant kaiju and battled the dark avatar Unalaq for the fate of the world. Whereas I told you, we don't talk about season 2. Okay, 1 was cool. From taking down anarchist revolutionaries to fascist empires, Korra proved herself as an avatar worthy of her forebearers. With her teammates Mako and Bolin, teachers like Tenzin and Toph, and badass girlfriend Asami by her side, there was nothing she couldn't do. Queen shit? Queen shit.
Queen
Come
shit.
on, little girl. Give me your best shot.
Chump.
Chill.
Boomstick, do you know what happens to a person who's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else. You got it. Do you know what happens to white-haired mutants whose parents are killed by a plane crash? They become badass weather witches. After Aurora Monroe's parents were that, she was forced to fend for herself on the streets of Cairo, under the tutelage of Ahmed el-Jabbar.
The life of a street rat wasn't doing it for Ororo, so she took off across the Sahara in search of a real home.
And that's when she began to master her mutant powers. In the same way that Homo sapiens, humans, evolved from earlier hominids like Homo erectus. Go ahead. Homo superior mutants are an offshoot of regular humans. They possess the X gene on their 23rd chromosome that effectively grants them superpowers.
But it's a lottery. You could end up like old Beak here.
Or you could end up like Ororo and possess complete control over the weather itself, while being super hot, unlike Beak.
No.
For all she knew, she was a goddess sent straight from heaven, and that's exactly what the local tribes thought when she arrived in her ancestral Kenyan homeland.
Ororo's mutant gene allows her to psionically manipulate the atmosphere, capable of summoning a hurricane with less than a conscious thought.
When she does feel like using conscious thoughts, something Wiz tells me I struggle with, Ororo can create storms that cover the entire Earth.
Her weather manipulation isn't just powerful, but precise. She can call upon massive tidal waves, conceal herself in fog, and even generate localized blizzards cold enough to freeze lava.
She can summon bolts of lightning, even ones that are continents away, or generate electricity inside your brain. And she once zapped Cyclops with enough lightning to restart an artificial sun called the Ring of Fire, a name that reminds me of the morning after Taco Tuesday.
Encircling the planet Polemarchus, the Ring of Fire provided all the same energy as a regular star.
But her favorite element is probably wind. With it, she can blow people away with tornadoes, suck the air out of a person's lungs, and generate enough lift to fly. She once flew fast enough to reach the edge of Earth's atmosphere from ground level in just a few seconds.
By measuring the angle and size of the Earth to get the distance and estimating a time frame of about 5 seconds, Ororo had to have flown at 4,000 times the speed of sound. She can even manipulate solar winds to fly through space. Unlike winds on Earth, which are just the movement of air molecules through the atmosphere, solar winds are streams of charged particles, mostly electrons and protons, ejected from the sun.
Almost as crazy as how she can breathe in the vacuum of space. She creates a mini atmosphere around herself by gathering, stray hydrogen atoms. Atoms! Those are like really small last time I checked. Are these writers just giving her whatever powers they want now? How is that weather?
Aurora's abilities apply to any atmospheric conditions, whether they be in outer space or alternate dimensions. Essentially, anything even remotely considered weather.
Man, I wish I had crazy writers giving me random superpowers just because it's funny. That'd be awesome. Well, anyways, I'm gonna go use my rocket hands I've always had to get my beer out the fridge. Away!
Perhaps her most useful ability, though, is to sense changes in the weather with a pseudo-sixth sense. Aurora literally sees atmospheric patterns and energy as colors, with the world as her canvas.
She's so good with it, she could track a jet flying over New York while she was fighting the Shadow King in Wakanda. That's on the other side of the planet. Yeah, no wonder everyone thought she was a goddess. She is.
Aurora enjoyed all the worship and admiration until the day she was contacted by an American, Charles Xavier, with an interesting proposal.
I want to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Join the X-Men. Oh, pretty please. They were eaten by this living eyelid. It's a long story, but we're short-staffed.
Xavier founded the X-Men as a team of mutant superheroes that would attempt to mend race relations between Homo sapien and Superior through non-violent means.
Because what better way to teach kids in the 60s about the civil rights movement than with a bunch of good-looking lily-white teenagers with superpowers from upstate New York?
Feeling she had spent enough time blessing the rains down in Africa, Aurora agreed and was assigned the codename Storm.
And she more than earned the spot. She's proven herself worthy to wield Mjolnir, led a war against the Inhumans, and even survived a blast from her own lightning.
This is impressive, considering her lightning is powerful enough to match Polaris, who once used her powers to punch through Earth's crust all the way to the planet's core.
Damn.
Assuming she pulverized the cylinder of Earth all the way down, she had to have exerted over 15 teratons of TNT.
She once beat the mutant Callisto in unarmed combat, and Callisto has apparently mastered every single martial art known to man.
Despite her unbelievable power, Storm has trained extensively in hand-to-hand combat. Get it? It also probably didn't hurt that she's fast enough to dodge literal beams of light. But did you get it, though?
Nope. And after kicking Callisto's ass, she became the queen of these sewer-dwelling mutants called the Morlocks. She really just couldn't escape being worshipped, could she? Even by grody underground monster people.
Well, she later married the Black Panther T'Challa and became Queen of Wakanda too, so it really runs the gamut.
But even demigods have their Achilles heels. That plane crash from her childhood left her crushed under rubble for days, giving her a bad case of claustrophobia that rears its ugly head every once in a while.
But that's not enough to stop this queen. After the departure of Scott Summers, Storm became the leader of the X-Men, because of course she did.
And when Geordie LaForge eventually came crawling back, the two fought over who would lead the team.
Despite Scott literally being able to shoot death lasers from his eyes, Storm kicked his ass. And even better, she didn't even have her powers at the time.
As it should be, because there's no one more devoted to her team than Storm is. She may be an Omega-level mutant, but her greatest superpower is her bottomless compassion.
Mess with her team, and you'll watch as Aurora's heart of gold quickly turns to ice, as she quite literally steals your breath away.
Testing me. It's time you remember why they call me Storm.
Oh, I had goosebumps.
Alright,
I don't know why. Yeah, that's good.
So who do you
But
think?
first, if you're dealing
Fuck,
with
I don't know
emotional weight of
anymore.
leading the X-Men
I don't
or
fucking
maintaining
know
the balance
anymore.
of the elements, or,
Probably
normal stuff
Storm,
because
to
it's
be
2021 and everything's on fire, check out
I mean,
BetterHelp.
This episode of
I don't know.
is sponsored
Honestly, I
by
don't know. I think
BetterHelp.
Storm.
Going to therapy
Yeah,
doesn't
Storm.
mean there's anything wrong with you.
It's more
Part of me wants to go for
maintenance
Korra, but
your
the other part of me's like,
wellness to prevent
I'm
bigger issues
Storm.
down the road.
Kind of like going to the
I'll go
doctor or
with Korra.
dentist for checkups.
BetterHelp is
Yeah, I'm
customized
going Korra.
online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat
At
sessions
least one
with
of
your
us will get this
therapist.
one at least
So you
this
don't
time
have to
around.
see anyone on
Maybe.
camera if you don't
Hopefully,
want to.
last
It's
few
much
we've been
more affordable than
like
in-person
zero.
therapy.
Hold on.
I just love it. Controls the elements: earth, wind, water, fire, heart.
Invest in everything else and not your mind.
Yes,
This show
they
is
got
sponsored
it.
by BetterHelp, and Death Battle viewers get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/DeathBattle. That's BetterHelp.com/DeathBattle.
But right now, it's time for a death battle!
I'm so bored.
Your powers are impressive, but you lack discipline. I'm the Avatar, Master of all elements. You want to see for yourself? Of course, Avatar. I'll show you what X-Men can do.
Next what? Oh. Hopefully it's not like Dragon Ball really Broly, where the ice caps they either turn into lava. It's like, how? Okay.
Water, lightning, and airbending? Starting to feel a little less special here.
No, baby. Spirit world. Sonic.
Where am I? Who are you? Answer me!
Spirit world. It's all the past Death Battle participants. Yeah. All the ones who've lost.
I won't let you die!
My cabbages! Ah! My cabbages! This week is for trying
You're
to.
no bender.
Not Avatar State.
Hey, sometimes when it's hero versus hero. Yeah. If that was it, I was gonna say, I guess you just get cracked.
Yeah, just no.
Damn.
I know what you are, Spirit of Storms.
Spirit of Storms.
Exactly.
Damn! Okay, come on, guys. That was a bit brutal. Fuck!
Fox Noble, Avatar.
You got this one.
I don't know. Her accolades were like really like
Shit was out.
Let's see.
This fight wasn't totally straightforward. Korra can dominate most fighters pretty easy with her raw bending power and martial arts skills, especially with the Avatar state. Not even some of the best benders on the planet like Zahir and Kuvira could stand up to her at her best.
However, despite Korra's awesome Avatar powers, she found herself outmatched by Storm's skill, precision, and overwhelming force. For instance,
Yeah, it was
Storm's
experience.
massively hypersonic flight and ability to sense and control weather across the planet meant she could always fight safely from a distance.
Korra's trained in martial arts from birth, but even if she did manage to get in close and fight hand to hand, Storm's experience with the X-Men and defeating Callisto meant she could keep up.
While Korra may have fought people who can dodge lightning, Storm can dodge literal beams of light. Even just using her flight speed exiting the atmosphere, she'd
That's
still be
faster.
nearly 20
Yeah.
times faster than Korra.
Korra did have access to elements like fire and earth that Storm didn't. If she somehow found out about Storm's claustrophobia, she could theoretically trap her in some rocks to exploit it.
But Storm would be more than powerful enough to just break out. Her lightning was strong enough to match Polaris, who punched a hole in the earth all the way down to its core.
Yeah, ultimately, Storm was just way more powerful. Remember that planet-sized storm she created? Well, I know clouds are lighter than air, but those are a shit ton of clouds and need a lot of work to move around.
By measuring their volume and the speed at which they moved, the energy Storm needed for this would be over 500 exatons of TNT, about 250 times more powerful than what Korra could output.
And considering this is the same woman who was powerful enough to reignite an artificial star, results like that aren't outliers.
Even taking the fight to the spirit world wouldn't have helped, considering Storm has manipulated alien weather from outer space and alternate dimensions. She'd have no problem adapting there, and considering Storm's powers are genetic in nature, not spiritual, Korra would not be able to depower her with energy bending.
And none of that is counting the ways Storm could have ended the fight right off the bat, like sucking the air right out of Korra's lungs or generating a lightning storm in her brain.
Korra was a tenacious, unrelenting opponent, but Storm's massive range, precise control, deadly skill, and unbelievable power won her this fight.
Don't get bent out of shape. Korra just couldn't weather the storm.
The winner is Storm.
Cool.
Got one.
Hey.
Thanks for watching this episode. If you want
Yeah.
even more action, you should check out the new season of Genlock on HBO Max, starring Mike B. Jordan, Dakota Fanning, and David Tennant in a fast-paced animated series inspired by mecha anime.
Yeah, I know it. I already know what it is. Maruchia versus... It's basically anime stuff, again. We'll be doing it, because I've seen both animes. So
Damn you.
we'll be doing it.
Suffice to say, energy drinks. I can stay awake for that.
Suffice to say, it's the battle of two master manipulators. Bad guys from both animes. But, yeah, Storm Korra was fun. Getting to know... we already knew pretty much everything about Korra. It was nice to get a lot more insight into Storm's abilities. And fuck, Storm is fucking powerful.
Oh, yes, she is. She is just almighty. Do you see why she, like they said, she's an Omega level mutant?
Yeah. So, overall, yeah, that was a good death battle. It was fun little stuff here and there. They did, do the Captain Planet thing, which is a nice little touch. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
They had to add the cabbages part of it into it, so...
For some reason. I love that, too. Destroyer of cabbages. Like, what? But yeah, I enjoyed this. It was cool finding out a lot more about Storm in the long run. Like, fuck, she can't even breathe in the space.
I can't wait to see how they're gonna reintroduce the X-Men in MCU. It's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah. So other than that, folks, if you're new to the channel, you can hit the like button if you want to talk to us more about stuff like this. Comment down below if you want to share us around, share it around. And if you like us just a little bit more than anybody else when it comes to talking about death battles, hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon as well.
Let us know what your guys' thoughts are on this death battle. You know, who you really rooting for? Were you really rooting for Storm or Korra in this one? Were you happy for who won? Or you pissed off who lost? I mean, do you guys have any reasons or explanations behind, you know, why this other person should have won or should have lost? Either way, put down what you thought of our reaction overall to this death battle, but most importantly, we thank you for watching.
And of course, guys, don't forget to check out our previous death battle reactions on this channel. And like I said, you can check out our previous reaction to Dio versus Alucard right here on the channel. So until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
And this has been a very Weathering the Storm episode of SRB.
See ya
later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
If you want to check out any of our previous reactions,
as well as one of our other SRB shows,
check out one of the playlists down below.
And if you want to check us out in the social universe,
you can find us on Twitter and Stardust
at Super React Bros,
as well as on Facebook
at Super Reaction Bros.